Greetings and welcome, everyone. It's AYCG Gamecast, episode 417. I'm one of your hosts, Jim Gast, joined by Corey Feinsod.
Boom.
And Tony Korkanakis.
Yo!
Welcome, guys. Welcome, listeners. Welcome, viewers, to 417 of the Gamecast. Mike is not working. He's working. He's not here. He is working. I almost said he's not working, but he's not going to be with us this week. So we'll get his other opinions of whatever we discussed this week, I'm sure, on this podcast. But as we're going to be talking about something that's a little bit hot topic right now. That's not even our topic tonight. Our topic is prices of games. Should they go up? And that's something we will talk about. But I want to lead. Well, let's start off with what we've been up to first, and then we'll get into this news about Rockstar. Just mentioning for me, it's been a couple. I missed last week, but I am very entrenched into Tomb Raider, the Shadow of the Tomb Raider. I was thinking about what to say about that game on this podcast. That's what that game is right now, and that's not a good thing. It's not a. I don't want to make it sound like it's a bad game because now the people are going to be angry at me, but it's not a bad game. But there's zero. If
it's a bad game, you could say it's a bad game.
No, it's
just say your honest feelings.
It's more like because I'm playing through it. I have one chapter left. I'm going through. It just gave me the notification about finish your stuff. Finish your shit before you go on. So I'm at the end of the game. However long that sequence takes, I'm at that sequence. It's like, how do you have a game that's a third one, but feels more like the first one in terms of the way it plays? It went backwards in gameplay.
I mean, that could be a good thing if you really like the first one.
No, because like everything in this game,
No.
Everything in this game tries to improve on what they did in 2, and that's in terms of its traversal, the grappling hook thing, the combat. But every single thing feels like it's just not tight. Like, it's just not there. Like, I have probably fallen, I don't know how many times because it wasn't clear about what I was supposed to do and where. I have also probably died in combat because it was like, it doesn't, the sensor thing doesn't always work in terms of like where you can see the enemies. It kind of has a lag to it. It doesn't seem polished. The game just doesn't seem polished. It looks good, but even the frame rate's not great. And, I'm playing on my Xbox One X, so I'm playing on 4K. I'm playing on 4K 30 frames, too, which is supposed to be locked. That's why I did it, because you could play 60 frame mode, and that is not locked. So I did 30 frame locked, but it's not locked. Don't tell me it's locked, because I saw it not locked.
I saw it.
Yeah.
Don't lie to me, game.
But, it's not like I'm hating the game, because I am a Tomb Raider. I've played these other games. However, Tony, have you ever played these games?
I played the first one.
Oh, but if you haven't played the second one, there's zero reason to play this game. And I would say do not play this game if you've not played the second game. Absolutely not. And I don't care. Like, do not play this game because you will have no idea, literally no idea of what's going on, because it's just like basically part 2 is what it is.
Okay.
And I didn't know that's what this was going to be. I thought it was going to be a new story, but no, it's literally like part 2. Because at first I was like, wait, what am I here for? What's going on? And I'm like, oh, I'm supposed to remember this from the second game? It picks up like right afterwards, and I'm like, I didn't know this. So if you've never played this game, this is not the game to kick it off with. And it's also not the tightest controls. Controls are they feel laggy, like they don't feel precise. And in a third person, like with platforming, that's not fun a lot of times. So I don't think the combat's in-depth, intuitive. I don't think it's great. I guess I do hate it, but it's not like
I guess I
talking about it. But I'm finishing the game. It's not like I'm not.
Jim's a glutton for punishment.
But I'm enjoying the character. I think a lot, and I'm enjoying. Oh, and you know what? I will say the puzzles are actually. I like the puzzles a lot. I do think the crypts are very well done. The tombs.
Oh, she actually does tomb raiding?
Yes, she actually does some tombs. They make you go into some tombs or crypts in this game. Then there's actually tombs you can go into, and those puzzles have been very good. A couple of them have been basic, but very good. Some of them were like, oh, this is pretty cool. Okay, they did a good job with this, so they made them much nice. That's the improvement right there. The puzzles, which is cool. That's a part of the game, big part of the game. But the other aspects of it make me say, do not play this game to anybody who's not a Tomb Raider fan at all. Don't if you see it on sale, don't buy it because it's not worth a pickup right now unless you've played the other games. I would go back and play those first, and then if you want to finish that series, the story, then go ahead and pick it up. That's it. So I don't know. I'm going to finish it, and then I'm going to move back to Ni no Kuni just before Red Dead, because I'll be done with Tomb Raider obviously probably tomorrow, and then I'll go back to Ni no Kuni until Red Dead. So.
Didn't you say you played something else on your Switch?
I started playing The World Ends With You, but I didn't really get into it because I had some weird glitch today where I couldn't get the controllers to work with the game, and I realize now it should.
Don't you have like a Pro controller though?
The Pro controller does not work. It's got a line through it.
Oh.
So you can't use it apparently. I don't know. That's what I got from it. So when I see a Pro controller on the screen as my option, it's got a line through it. That tells me I can't use that controller, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So I saw the Joy-Cons and I'm like, okay, can I use the dock with them? And I'm like, no. Okay, so let me hold them separately. I'm like, okay, I can't do that. It really just wants to use one Joy-Con. But then it asked me to place that Joy-Con flat on a surface, and I couldn't get past that point. After I got past the sync problem, I couldn't get into to begin with. It wouldn't sync. It kept looping back to that. Press the L and R part. It kept looping back to that on me. And then I found out that the real problem with the game is I kept switching between handheld and dock to try to get past what I was working on, and it can't really. While I can switch where the game is, the game doesn't really know what mode it should be in at that point. So I had to I kept having to close the game, reopen it. Until finally I decided, you know what, the hell with this. I'm just going to play it in handheld and see how it is. And then I realized that handheld is the way you're supposed to play this game. So I'm going to... I knew that, but I wanted to see what they had done for the Switch. You know what I mean? Like, what they had...
No, I get it. But I mean, I was curious. I'd be curious to see what they would do to when it's a dual screen or touch screen device game.
Yeah, I mean,
you're gonna put it on a TV.
I will say that this is the actual first time I've ever used the touchscreen.
Yeah, so that's the reason why you can't actually use the Pro controller for this, is because the simulate or emulate, well, I don't know what term you want to use, the touch controls.
Yeah.
Like it requires both of the Joy-Cons, because I think you gotta like do like some motion type things.
That was the weird part. That I couldn't get the second Joy-Con to sync. That was the weirdest part. And I know what you're saying. Like, now I'm thinking about the way the controls work with the dash and everything. Like you would probably need to move them for like spells and for other things. And I'm like, I couldn't get it to sync. I don't know. So I mean, I'll be playing this in handheld. It's actually pretty cool for me to bring this. This would be fine for like a game to bring to work and play it on downtime. So I'll be doing that this week too. So I'll have more of an impression next week of it. But it's very pretty. It's a very hand-drawn game. It's really nice looking. I like the style. It kind of reminds me of Jet Set kind of environment. So
the Neo Tokyo.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And the music is takes me right back to that. So I was like, oh, this is cool.
Like the music is just so cool. It's like very like, J-poppy, like rap kind of thing like that. Yeah.
So, so I'll play it this week, and I'll have more of an impression of it for you guys next week.
Cool.
So, all right, that's it for me. Corey?
I'm just playing a lot of Destiny still, and this Dragalia Lost game on my phone.
Wait, what is this game on? What is it?
That's the new Nintendo game.
I thought so. Okay, that's what people have been talking about. Okay, how is it?
I'm really enjoying it. It's basically an action RPG in the vein of, I guess, kind of like a Diablo.
Diablo light, I would say. Yeah.
It's very light, and it fits in your phone, and like it does a great job of. I always feel like you something to and progressing you forward as far as the game is concerned, and there's like crafting, there's loot drops, like everything I love about like an RPG style game. They're getting it here in a free to play Nintendo game. It's very pretty. It's like looks fantastic on the XS Max. Yeah, it's great. What's really cool though is like they had an event like 2 weeks, a raid where you actually co-op with your whole squad. So it's like 16 characters on screen fighting a big boss, which is pretty cool.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
And then if you like do things, they give you the character, like a exclusive character for that event and stuff, which was pretty neat.
Cool.
And they got a Halloween event coming up, and obviously same thing. Destiny's got the Halloween thing going on now too. So
okay,
same stuff as always here.
All right, Tony.
Let's see. I forget if I talked about it, but I actually played a little Mega Man 11.
Oh, cool. How is that?
Yeah, really fun. It's a solid game. One of the better efforts, for sure, of the Mega Man genre. I would put it above 10 but like maybe a little below 9. 9 was the first one that went back to the 8-bit style. 10 was the second one that went back to the 8-bit style on the Xbox 360, Wii, whatever, stuff like that. But it's a good. It plays well, no, input delay or anything like that. A lot of the bosses and levels and, everything is like really creative and stuff like that. So I'm hoping it does well so we can see, more Mega Man in the future. And it's priced right. I mean, $30, that's a bargain, especially for a game that, you might only get like 4 or 5 hours of a single playthrough. And, it depends on what you want to do. I think it's a great game for like speed running and stuff like that. I know a couple of runners I watch are trying to like route something, which to me is kind of exciting. It's interesting with some of these new games. It's like I appreciate these games, but like when new people are trying to map out like the quickest way to beat the game, like discovering like tricks and tips and like little whatever exploits or whatever. It's like, oh wow, it's really interesting and stuff. Like kind of it's different when a game is established and everybody's like, oh, it's more of the execution rather than discovery and stuff like that. And that just more Xenoblade Chronicles 2, the Golden Country Yatorna. That's still really solid. Enjoying that. Cool. I would say probably about halfway through that. All right. And other than that, just a little Overwatch because their Halloween event is going on.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Their thing is pretty cool and stuff like that. And actually, to tie it into a little bit of news, so back earlier in the year, they did that Pink Mercy charity thing, and they raised $12.7 million. And today they actually announced what that money's going towards with the Breast Cancer Research Foundation, which was the organization that they paired with for that. So it's funding 3 new programs. So one of them is Precision Prevention Initiative, and that's going to aid innovative prevention research to reduce the incidence of breast cancer and creating like new tools and tests for better screenings and diagnostics and stuff like that. So it'll help like the prevention process of.
I don't think we usually get an update as to what they're actually doing with the money after you do a fundraiser. That's like the first time I've heard of somebody doing this.
That's part of why I think Cancer Awareness Month.
Yeah,
sure. Yes, yeah.
Ties all together, which is great.
Yep. So the second thing is Translational Breast Cancer Research Consortium Award. It was funded by the Pink Mercy donations. Will help launch 5 new clinical trials this year, and they're conducted with a consortium comprised of 19 different medical institutions and almost 200 investigators aimed at accelerating new treatments for patients with breast cancer. So it uses like a multidisciplinary approach to, and I'm just reading off thing. I don't understand a lot of it on a high level, but maybe you do. To improve the understanding of breast cancer biology and to test new therapeutic strategies through clinical trials. Yeah. So that's really cool. And then the third and last one is going to be they're introducing 25 annual research grants through BCRF. So that's the core of their mission statement, the BCRF. So these awards provide scientists across the world with funds to explore innovative ideas, collaborate with other researchers, and bring us closer to eradicating breast cancer. So 25 research grants are going to be distributed to studies in 7 different research fields that focus on diagnosis and treatment. And they kind of like broke it down. So some of the different categories of treatment, tumor biology, biomarker discovery, disparities, metastasis, hereditary risk, and early detection. So
we expect this from now on with any fundraiser to get this kind of a breakdown, right?
I hope we do, because this is really cool. This is one of those things that like it's crazy when gamers can come together to like do something that's really cool, not only for the game and the lore and the community, but like the world as as a larger whole. Because this will benefit people that don't even know Overwatch and stuff like that. And I think that's really fascinating.
Yeah, it's cool. Yeah, it's very cool. All right, we're getting into the news now, right? We're good?
Yep.
All right, moving into the news, we're going to kick off with like some of the lighter stuff here. PSN name change got announced on much more fanfare than the crossplay, but that they're allowing it in 2019. You'll be able to finally change your PSN name for free for the first one. I think it's $9.99 each additional change.
Same thing as Microsoft, right?
But they didn't really explain how it will work with games that were purchased before April of 2018. Like, I think that's where they said the name change will take effect into. But they said they don't guarantee that it would work in other older games. I'm not sure how that works, but that's what I didn't know if they updated that more recently, but I know last week that's what they were talking about, and they haven't really detailed it all yet. So maybe at PSX, oh wait, we're not getting that, they can detail stuff. So I don't know, but 2019, I would assume April, somewhere around there. Did they say exactly when?
No, I don't know exactly when.
Yeah,
I know like last year at PSX they were saying next year we'll have something to say.
yeah, at PSX, and then they canceled PSX. All right, so anyways, so that's some news there. Nintendo announced Nintendo's bundles for the Switch are how many bundles are there for this thing? It's merchandising.
That's a lot.
That's why I was like,
this is the most aggressive I've ever seen Nintendo with bundling.
They're doing a Diablo 3 a collection bundle for $359.99, for those wondering. But yeah, I did that immediately when you posted that, Tony. My thought went to Spaceballs, where they're like, merchandising. What's that? And he shows.
Well, I mean, all the successful systems do that. Like, I mean, how many different?
Nintendo's notorious for it though, with their different colors. N64s, remember that? I mean, that Gamecast.
Well, yeah, but that was internal.
Sure.
Usually they only do it for first parties.
It's true. You're right.
It's been a while, so I know in Japan they actually did a Monster Hunter Switch.
Mm-hmm.
So the thing is, it's not just like, hey, you get the game and other stuff. It's the dock itself has like a Diablo 3 like thing imprinted on it, and on the back of the Switch itself, it has like, I think, Diablo's face on it or something like that, in like a grayish, fatigue or something like that to go with the matte black.
Yeah.
So that's cool, and it does come with the digital deluxe version or whatever. It comes with all the content, and I think a pretty sweet looking like red and black Diablo Switch case and stuff like that for 360. So it's like,
it's nice.
Little. It's the same price if you bought them two separately, but like you get
some customized stuff for it, and
right.
I'm disappointed that Blizzard came out and said that they're not working on cross-network play for this, because the rumor came out that they were, and I was like, oh god, please, that would be awesome. And but I'm still probably getting this for Switch when it comes out.
Yeah. So I mean, I might too.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's one of those things. Like after you guys said it, I was like, well, you know what? Because
it only helps us, Tony. Like, because if this does well, then Blizzard's like, well,
right.
You could put other stuff out on Switch too.
Right.
So,
I absolutely agree. And the thing is, like, at the core of it, I do want to at least experience the
game was the way it was intended.
The expansion content. well, the game, as is intended, but the expansion story mode. Because like the thing is, the rumor has it that we're gonna get big Diablo news this year at BlizzCon because the key art, a lot of the merchandise has like new Diablo art that's not been used before and stuff like that. So for them to just like, commission art to, or not commission, but like have their artists do this stuff for like
mock-ups.
No apparent reasons.
Definitely got like burned last year though with the.
I really thought it was happening. I think I made a bet.
Yeah, we made a bet there. Yeah, so. But yeah, with the Necromancer stuff like that was a little disappointing. But this year they got it because it makes so much sense because this game has been out forever. And coming out on Switch is like perfect. And then like we're rolling right into BlizzCon with the announcement of 4. And it's like, all right, let's.
I feel like all Half-Life 3 fans have been saying this same thing for a long time. This is the year.
Are they even Half-Life fans anymore? I mean, it's been so long. Like I figured,
it's like this is a completely different story.
I know. You know it's coming. So they have to be working on something.
I could definitely see cross-platform play for Diablo 4.
Sure.
Because again, like if it's not designed for it in mind, it always makes it a little bit trickier.
Mm-hmm.
Games like Fortnite or Rocket League, like where it was like, hey, we want this on many platforms as possible.
And Rocket League was cross-platform play with PC right away.
Rocket League is more of a service game too. I mean, Diablo 3 is not a service game.
Right. So, exactly. But
they tried to make it one.
Yeah, they tried, but it's not anymore. So, yeah. All right. What else we have here? N64 Classic leak possibly in images here.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how I feel.
Expected.
It's expected, but here's the thing. Like to me, I mean, we kind of know what it's going to look like. It's going to be the system shrunk down to fit in your palm. Like, to me, the visuals of what it looks like is like the least interesting thing you could talk about for all the details about N64 Classic. Yep. The important details are what games are going to be on there, how many, is there going to be like a hook/catch, kind of like with SNES Classic. They're like, ooh, bam, Star Fox 2. To me, I'm like, well, could they release some of that like exclusive 64 DD, the disc drive stuff that never saw the light of day in America and stuff like that. That could be cool. I think F-Zero X had like a track editor and stuff like that. Like that would be a cool gimmick because it's like, hey, people have never been able to experience it.
That's true. That would be great.
how many controllers it's going to come with, are the controllers going to come in different colors, etc. Those are the interesting details about the N64 Classic to me, not what does it look like. So, I mean, it's interesting to talk about, but I think we all expect this, right?
Yes, we do. Spider-Man's DLC hits next week, The Heist. There's going to be the Black Cat DLC.
Yep.
So,
it's did you guys get the season pass for us?
I didn't yet, but this is a game I'm not getting rid of. So yeah, I'll pick it up. Oh, I platinumed that too. I forgot to mention that in what we've been up to.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I did platinum that.
I think did we all platinum it?
I did not platinum it, but
do you plan on it, or
Mike?
It's
maybe at some point. It's
more
just like one of those things that
tedious.
you can just do.
It's a bit more tedious, so maybe you could do it during the DLC stuff too. So
work it in.
Yeah.
Right. This game is the highest percentage platinum in all
I did see that.
PlayStation's exclusive titles. So
it's impressive.
It's just like it's a nice, easy, just like you can't miss stuff, so if you just play the game, you're gonna get it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So as long as you explore a little bit. I mean, there's one thing I did miss, which was somewhere up in the north corner of things. I had to go look for something up there.
Well, I mean, as long as you're playing the game, I'm just saying, like,
it's not like
do something in the story and, like, oh, shit, I can't go back to that. And
I hate that.
You
where
can't
it's
get that part.
like in chapter 1, like, find this random thing.
Talk
like,
to this.
What?
Yeah. Like in Tomb Raider, like, I missed a relic.
This question.
Yeah. So.
Can't do it.
All right. Let's go into we have two big things to talk about in this podcast. One is the Red Dead Redemption 2 crunch time fiasco that's going on with Rockstar. Trying to clarify basically how it leaked that they were, I guess not demanding, but expecting 100-hour work weeks.
Right. Well, hold on. Let's start with the first quote. What was it? An interview with what publication was it?
Venture.
Vulture?
Oh, Venture Beat or something, was it?
Venture Beat's probably the first one, yeah. I'm sorry, when I posted this in here, I have one site accessible at work. So I went and grabbed it from here. It's a Vulture.
Right.
Vulture.com.
So Rockstar co-founder Dan Houser, I don't know how you pronounce it, said it in an interview, we were working 100-hour weeks several times in 2018, Dan says. The finished game includes 300,000 animations, 500,000 lines of dialogue, and many more lines of code. Even for each Red Dead Redemption 2 trailer and TV commercial, we probably made 70 versions, but the editors may make several hundred. Sam and I will both make lots of suggestions, as will other members of the team. So it was like, is this like a stealth brag kind of thing? Like, oh, we were working 100-hour work. It's like,
I don't know if that was like, I don't know. Like,
I don't know if it was like necessarily a brag. I think he was just more saying like, look at how much shit
we put a lot. I think it was more about we put a lot of effort and a lot of time into this game.
And how
we wanted like the blood, sweat, and tears.
Yeah.
Right. I think he's trying to.
Corey, you chopped up there. What was that?
It doesn't read that. I was just saying it doesn't read that way when you like read it on paper. Like, we spent 100. It's like, whoa, you spent 100 hours a week. It doesn't sound like we worked really hard and like put all of our time and effort and make this game.
I think
great.
that's what he was trying to say. But then you're like, wait, 100-hour work weeks? Are you kidding me? I mean, that's where you get into the problem of. And then like I remember, it's funny though, Tony, when you first posted this, my first thought was, this has been said before from this company. This isn't the first time I've heard that their crunch time in this game is they're one of the worst companies for crunch time.
Like, they said that it came out right, GTA 5 or any GTA most likely.
Yeah.
In 2010, there was an open letter by wives of a lot of Rockstar San Diego's employees talk about the work conditions in relation to Red Dead Redemption 1.
Yeah.
So it's just like, they've done it multiple times before. There's no doubt in my mind that it's happening right now.
Yeah.
Even if it's not as bad, like as the previous stuff, it's still happening to a degree that is unacceptable.
Yeah, exactly. And
the other thing is, I don't think that Rockstar's the only studio that's doing this.
Oh, sure. No, there's no way.
They're getting singled out right now.
Thanks to Jason Schreier's book. Jason Schreier's book actually shed a lot of light on it for how games are really thrown together at the last second. I mean, if you look at the amount of hours people are working, I mean, look at Uncharted. That's a good one. Naughty Dog.
Last of Us.
Yeah, Naughty Dog.
That barely came together at the end.
Yeah.
They even admitted like several times, like, oh, how are we going to do this?
They stayed there all week. They wouldn't even go home.
Fucking Destiny got
Yeah.
made in a year. It was a game that was being developed for 5 years, and they just scrapped every 4 years of work.
Absolutely. So yeah, I mean, it's definitely something that a lot of studios are guilty of, but it's one of those things that like it shouldn't be. And the other thing is like it just happens to be like as I explained to I forget Nick or Mike on the Discord. It's like a lot of people do it, but it just takes one to start like hey like. You got to start somewhere.
Well, it's the whole Fortnite thing with cross-play. It's like you need a trigger.
Right, you need a catalyst
to get everybody on board here.
Right, exactly. And like with this game being like the biggest game of the year by far, it's on all the big two console platforms. Been developed for 7 years.
If this game doesn't win Game of the Year, it's a huge disappointment.
Yeah,
right.
That's what you're.
It has high expectations.
It's the Golden State Warriors of basketball. Basically.
Yeah, right. And then for this interview to come out, which honestly should have just been a fluff piece, like, hey, like, RDR2 is coming out really soon, guys. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Hope you're looking forward to this awesome product we're making. And it's like, okay. But the thing is, as opposed to a lot of these other studios and developers and publishers, that it's like, typically it's around a 3 to 4 year console, game development cycle. Yeah. RDR2 has been in development for 7 years. So, in my opinion, I'm sorry, if you take 7 years to make a video game, and even in that final year, I'm not even sure about the first 6, you have to do 100-hour work weeks. Like anybody has to do 100-hour work.
There has to be a better system in management of time.
Right, you are failing as a manager or a leader or a leader. Like that's piss poor management, scope management, project management, whatever you want to call it. It's terrible.
You could have taken. I can't do quick math, but if you spread that out over 7 years, extra time, like a little bit more a week instead, it would have been better spent than 100-hour work weeks. You would have been. You would have maybe had about a 42-hour work week is what you would have been.
And there's so many of these features that just the artist in me can appreciate like wow the attention to detail or like the small details, but the thing is at some point you got to ask yourself, is this worth it? Like the horse testicle thing, like somebody's job was literally to make horse testicles shrink or grow depending on if it was cold or hot. Like, is that something most people are going to care about? Like, who's going to care about that?
It's unbelievable that they spent that much time on that point. I mean, come on. Right. Physics, testicle physics. Why is that in the game?
Right, and it's just you take that and like, does that make it a better game first and foremost? Does it make it a better game?
I mean, I don't know. Like, the horse lover and people maybe want the full.
I mean, sure.
I don't want to kink shame anybody, but if you're into that kind of stuff, you know what? Wait for the PC version. Get your modding.
No, I mean it's about video games is about immersion and like taking you out of like
sure, but at a certain point,
like, a different one.
I'm sorry, but how many people play games are really looking at those physics?
No, I'm not. Thing is, for me, like I understand you guys are saying this, like, oh, do we really need this? Sure, why not? Like, let's throw everything we can into a game and like make it as big as possible. Like, let's push the envelope as much as possible. But don't kill your workers for it.
Yeah, if you had time, if you had extra time, yes, I could see that.
Yeah, but I'm just saying why. But it sounds like you guys like don't. Well, we don't need this. Throw it out. Like, why? Like
because you didn't have time. Because you didn't have time.
Things.
No, I do. No, I know what you're saying, Corey. But if you have the extra time, like okay, we finished this game and we have 4 months to launch. What can we polish? That's when you do that.
Well, the problem is like you get creep scope and things just keep going out of control and you don't know how to bring them in.
That's
like when you
pushing
start
the envelope.
off the list.
I would love them to push the envelope in terms of like story, AI, gameplay mechanics.
Like because we know now.
These stupid attention
that's
to
the
detail.
thing. We know now for a fact that during the development cycle they start to cut things that they know aren't going to be ready. So the time they spent on the horse testicles, what did they cut? And everything's
maybe Rockstar isn't cutting. Maybe they're not cutting, and that's why we have these things. But here's the problem, because this is one of the things, and I've talked about it before, where you have these mega, the giant corporations, and I'll say like, that's Electronic Arts, Activision Blizzard, Ubisoft, and Take-Two. They are like the premier third-party publishers at this point.
Yeah.
It is almost impossible for people to compete, like almost impossible for any third party to compete with this stuff. Can you imagine like another open world game like coming out after Red Dead Redemption 2? People can be like, oh, this is shit. Like, it doesn't have as many features.
Cyberpunk.
Possibly. Right.
Independent studio right there.
Yeah.
I mean,
possibly, but I mean, we'll have to see. And again, that's another game that's been in development for 7 years. So like, is that the new standard now? these expectations. And the thing is, like, it's a natural progression of things. Like, if you look from, the 8-bit era to the 16-bit era to the 64-bit era to the, 128-bit era, like, it's clear, like, okay, like, first you have, like, the 8-bit.
Technology, it just, like, doubles. It just keeps doubling exponentially.
Well, the thing is,
ridiculous rate here.
Is it, though, now? I mean, I think technology is not progressing as far as it used to. It used to, yes, but now it's like it has... more,
I think it's stalled out, absolutely.
Yeah, so now it's like, why now are we getting these games to take this long? Is that because it's stalled, or is it because they're not getting the power they need for these things, or is it?
Yeah, absolutely. That's why.
Oh, okay. So I thought you were going the other way with the point. Like it, I thought you were okay. I thought you were saying it was taking.
No,
this long
I'm saying like in the beginning, we were getting like technology was jumping so fast,
Yeah.
and like people are like having all this fun and stuff, but now it's not. Like, now we're not going as quickly, and like we're getting incremental.
Okay.
Console releases.
So they're trying their damnedest to make it look like it's not incremental.
And so now you're trying to put the prettiest, best, biggest thing out, and you don't have the same resources that you used.
Man, if we could just get the power of the cloud together, we.
Oh yeah.
No, I think that like I know. No, I just think that and Mike I'm sure Mike would love to be on this podcast for this part, considering the conversation you guys had in Discord earlier today. But no employee from anywhere should be. And they're saying they didn't require these 100-hour work weeks, but there's
it's
the problem.
Bullshit,
no, but it's not that. Yeah, you're right. It's not that they're requiring it. It's like
it's a culture.
Yeah,
it's
if you don't do it, it's like they're going to find somebody else to replace you at some point. Then that will
right, absolutely. Because if your boss is staying, till 10 p.m., and he was there before you or at, when you were like, and all your other coworkers are doing the same thing, and you leave on time or whatever like that.
Yeah.
Everybody else is going to notice. Everybody else is going to notice. At the very least, it's going to come up during like a professional review or whatever like that, or like it's you're not a team player, or not a good culture fit or something like that.
Yeah.
And that's terrible. Like nobody should go in expecting that. And so the greater ramification of this is we are burning out like our developers,
sure,
like so quickly. The average age, according to a new study, which I don't have handy, says that the average employee in the game industry stays around for 6 years and then leaves, which is, compared to most of the other industries in the world, is actually like really pathetically low, because it's like they just get burned in. And 6 years, I mean, you figure that's 1, maybe 2 AAA games. And that's all these people could take. It's like it's the stress is just so demanding, the mental and physical toll, not to mention emotional. If you have family, if you have kids, all that stuff, like you're just literally sacrificing your life to help make a video game so that your publisher can make gigantic profits off.
What was it? I mean, going back again, just talking about Naughty Dog. Wasn't Neil Druckmann who just wanted to stop? He wanted to retire. Because it's like you put too much time into the game, and it's just you lose that.
Well,
it was the other one. It was the other one. Yeah, Bruce Straley. Yeah, and he did. Yeah, they got rid of the game. They released the game, and he's done. He just can't do it anymore.
Right, Bruce Straley. And I mean, he was like pretty much as high as most people can ever go in a company. Being a prime game director of either two like
big
first party Sony titles,
huge
right?
Franchise.
And he's like, "No, I'm done." Like, and at first. He even admitted in an interview with Kotaku, at first it was going to be like a hiatus or, just some time off. And he's like, then it just got easy to say like, oh, you know what? I want some more.
Yeah.
I want some more. And then it's like, you know what? I can't come back to this.
Yeah.
I can't come back.
The crunch thing is the biggest part of not coming back. Crunch time. Every game apparently has this. And this is where it's like, why have we not figured out a system at this point to not have crunch time?
Right. And I forget if it was him or somebody else. I know it was covered in Blood, Sweat, and Pixels by Jason Schreier Kotaku, where one guy literally rented a new apartment closer to the studio just so he could.
Yes, they did. They did. That's what these two. That's what these two did.
And it's just like that's mind blowing. Like, so not only are you sacrificing your life, you're actually spending more money so you could spend more time at work.
Yes, that's what they did. So they can get there faster and they had less commute. Yeah. Yes, and get there in bad weather. It was just easier for them to do that. Yeah, you're right. So I don't know.
Right, and so it's just all right. So you take this, this guy who's worked on how many Uncharted games, Last of Us, and now he's gone from the industry, just gone.
Yep.
Completely gone. Like the valuable experience, the talent, the knowledge that he has had, the relationships, the camaraderie, with people on his team, that's just gone.
Yep. Yeah, because he's burnt out. So that's what we have to avoid. All right. I'm sure we'll cover this again a little bit more next week.
Oh, absolutely. So just a last bit,
Yeah.
Jason Schreier, because he's the sneak press fuck that he is.
Yeah.
I love the guy. Best investigative journalist that the game industry has, to be quite honest.
Maybe only one too.
Maybe
Seems like.
right. Maybe one of the definitely
one I
one
know
of.
of. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like it seems like he's only the only legitimate one out there apparently right now. Like we need more people like him in this industry.
Well, I mean, I think there's Cecilia also from Kotaku. She broke the Riot Games like sexism scandal and stuff like that. So that was a really good piece, actually.
That Philip guy didn't break this news, really?
Yeah,
he'll break it tomorrow.
He'll break it tomorrow. But Jason Schreier basically said like, hey, like, I'm definitely working. I've been working on a piece about Rockstar Games crunch and work culture and stuff like that. And this interview and all of this has just accelerated that. So, if you are a recent
my contact information,
current, I will keep all your information confidential. And Jason Schreier, who's been in the industry so long and has had successful, stories, books, etc.
Got a rep.
People trust him, so they are going to be more open with him, obviously.
Yes,
So, I cannot.
And, as a consumer of this. Content. It's very nice to see that there's a guy on the inside, essentially, kind of like trying to dig up this stuff.
It would be awesome.
Bring it to light because it's very interesting.
I wonder if we get a sequel book.
Good to.
Yeah, I wonder if we get a sequel.
He's already writing
that
a
out
second
there.
book.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Sorry, Corey. I was going to say piggyback on this. I would like to get a sequel book called Crunch Time.
Yeah. And it very well could be, because I mean, this is one of the things that he is actually really passionate about just like the industry overall.
He did say. Oh, I'm getting my connection's shit.
Oh, he did say what? Can you get us? Oh, Corey's losing us. Anyways, I don't know. He did say. You're still fine on our side, Corey. I mean, whatever. Okay. Oh, now he's frozen. Okay. Well, I guess we'll get that later from him.
We'll get it back.
Anyways, so, but yeah, so we have a topic.
I was gonna turn off.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. You there? Okay. Well, okay, we're going to move on because we have dead air. So, topic of the night.
Topic of the night.
Are you there? No?
I'm here.
Jeez. Okay, there you go. Okay, what?
You hear me?
Yes, he did say.
I had to turn my video off.
That's fine.
No, I was just going to say with Jason Schreier, he did say that it's going to be a little different than Blood, Sweat, and Pixel. So if you like that, expect something different in his next book.
I'm fine with that. I mean, you don't want to read the same thing twice. Like, I guess some people do. But anyways, let's get into our topic. Price of games. Should it be going up at this point? We haven't had a price increase in how long? When was the last time the games went up? They went down.
$360.
Because they went down. We get N64 games.
I mean, it depends. Yeah, I was gonna say N64 games were like $70.
$79.99. They were $80, I think, right? Neo Geo games were $100, weren't they?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So yeah,
it's all the carts though. Carts are always gonna be more expensive.
CDs have been $60 since 360.
Yep.
Yeah, 360. So for 2 generations now, we've had $60 prices of games, and the cost of games obviously is getting astronomical. Development time, as we just talked about, is just crazy. So should these games be going up in price? I think yes. I'm all for them increasing the price by $5 to right now. You want to jump it, great, but you can start bringing it up slowly. You could do a $64.99 game, and it's not that bad for people to still buy. It's not that bad. But you don't want to. I don't think you want to jump $10, which I know is probably the goal. But you don't want to do that here. You should have been doing this a long time ago. Is my point.
Yeah, I actually will make a bold claim here, and I am speculating that with the launch of the PS5 and the Xbox 2 successors, I think we're going to see $9.99 games.
Which
I think they're going to take advantage of.
Okay.
$69.99, at least in American US dollars.
Okay.
I think they're going to target that as their base price line.
Okay. Yeah, I could see that too. I mean, $64.99 is a weird number. So, but I could see them doing that, and that's why I was like, you could do a $5 increase and it wouldn't be as bad.
No, I agree. Like a $5 would be gentle. But with the new thing, the new launch, you can get away with murder. Like we talked about it so much.
We did just talk about it with movies too. Yeah,
right.
New releases. Yeah.
Like,
hey, you're like the opposite on this though, Jim.
I know, and that's why I think I said that I think I was trying to say that in the movie cast. I'm the opposite opinion on both because I know that costs of movies are recouped a little bit from the movie theaters. Gaming gets released, you have to buy it from there. There's no other venue to see it or view, you know what I mean, do it. That's your launch. I'm talking
Right.
about the combination of everything for the movies. For games, it's one thing.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, yes and no, I guess.
I mean, I would say for the most part, like, all right, so anything that's major in a movie, like any of the Marvel stuff, Star Wars stuff, and I've said it before, all that is just kind of like play money, because all that Disney really cares about is selling toys,
Sure.
merchandise, all that stuff, creating their brand. Like, if the movie is profitable, great, but like that's a drop in the bucket compared to, like, you know, toy sales and merchandising and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Unless the movie's like independent or a lesser budget movie, then obviously that has a significant factor. But at least with most games, and I'm saying most because obviously a lot are like licensed, or a lot of them, you know,
sometimes
will
it
have
does,
merchandise. But a lot of the games, like, that is their only opportunity to make money.
Yes.
Like, that's it.
Yeah.
And you will succeed or fail, depending on how well that, you know, or not well the game does.
Yeah.
So if a $10 price hike is going to, you know, help ease that, you know, risk, because let's talk about that. I mean, that's really what it is. The games are a risky venture, and you could just compare the output of, like, again, like the big four publishers: EA, third party, Ubisoft, Activision Blizzard, Take-Two. They're releasing less games on average per year than they did 10 years ago, when, like, they would just, like, be like, oh, whatever, here's a new game, here's a new game, here's a new game. And we get, like, crazy stuff like Mirror's Edge and, you know, whatever, Rayman brought back and stuff like that. And, like, now it's just, like, we get, like, a couple marquee titles per year, like, what, maybe 3 or 4?
Yeah.
And it's propped up with, like, you know, loot crates or microtransactions and games as a service, which, you know, it's great because as a consumer, you're confident when you buy that game, you can get a lot of playtime and value out of it, you know. So
Sure. Yeah. I think. I mean, I think that's. I'm off. Like I said, I'm not against this at all. I think increasing this price would help get more of these games out rather than get them canceled. As we've seen how many times now, a game doesn't even see the light of day just because it gets in development hell. Risks of failure become, you know, more prominent as they spend more money. But if you know that you're getting $10 more back per game on sale, maybe that can recoup that a little bit. It really depends on the consumer.
When was the last time you bought a game at full price, Jim?
Well, GCU has skewed that, unfortunately. You're right. GCU has definitely skewed that because I guess you can count my GameStop purchases, like, because that's trade-ins. Shadow of the Colossus was opening, you know, that was what I paid. What was that? $40 when that came out, and that's what I paid.
Yeah, but you really didn't pay that.
No.
GameStop paid that for you.
Yes, there's always going to be creative ways of not paying the full price, and that's the point. Like, they can charge $70, and GameStop, you're still paying $70, but GameStop pays part of that. So that's the idea, or whatever that comes out to be, whatever the magic is behind the pre-owned dollars. But, you know, like GCU, I've been paying $48 per game. I've ordered a ton of games. But you're right. It still needs to happen. It still should have been happening, like I said, more slowly over the course of the generations. It's just because it hasn't happened now. They're behind the 8 ball in terms of cost of development, and that.
Well, I mean, that's the thing here with this. People are conditioned for certain things now. We're conditioned for a certain price tag. We're conditioned for a certain quality of game. We're conditioned for all these things that these people have to live up to. And so when you're not living up to that, your game's going to get trashed, or it's going to fail. It's going to not be worth the money, and so people aren't going to buy it. It's just, you're just kind of feeding into the problem here, and that's where
I can see.
Have to all do it together. I mean, that's the thing is, if Xbox does it and Sony doesn't, you're screwed.
No, but they have to, and that's the idea behind it. Like, third party would control this rate. That's where they have to follow that. And the other thing I could say is not every game needs to be $69.99 suggested retail price. I think that like a game like God of War would be a game that you would put at $69.99 as opposed to Overwatch. Overwatch could be a cheaper game because it has a service in there where you can make money to supplement that extra $10 cost. So I think it also would signify more of what you're getting when you purchase it. So like if you're getting a game like, you're getting a service game like Rocket League or something like that, it's not going to be a full price game because they're supplementing their income, like Titanfall. They're supplementing their income with purchases you can do inside the game that gets them more money, and they end up making a pretty good amount. So my other idea was to, well, do they offer more of
That's an
that?
interesting one to bring up.
I don't know why I brought that one up. That was the first that came to my head. I just remember them having free DLC like crazy because of what they made for people to buy in the game. Yeah, so I mean, like, I think games like these single player.
Well, and that's the other problem. That's the other thing that we're getting conditioned for is like, you expect to buy a game for $60, and it's going to be you're going to continue to get value out of that game for that $60.
That's why I'm saying, like, those kind of games, I think making like a single player experience that I love to play, I could see paying $70 and be okay with that as long as it's a nice experience. You know?
And you're okay with that, Jim, because you get to trade it into GameStop. If you could not do that, would you still be okay?
I haven't traded a game in probably since Flip Again.
Yeah, you're waiting for value for it, Jim.
But they drop in value, Corey. I just haven't gone. Like, I just haven't traded a game in. Like,
I'm just asking you a question. Would you pay $70 for a game, full price, knowing you're not going to be able to resell that game?
I probably look for some sales on games, but I wouldn't say I wouldn't buy, like, my big games I know, like Red Dead Redemption 2, yes. Yes, I would.
Right. I mean, for a game that you know you're going to be able to get 100 hours out of, well, yeah, sure.
Yeah, Spider-Man I would have. Let's see. I'm trying to think of games I would have done that with.
Right.
Uncharted
the amount
games.
of games. What I'm saying is the amount of games you would be buying would probably go down. So does that help then? I mean, do you think raising prices and the amount of sales lost because of that is going to counter the price
that's the
increase?
problem. We don't know. We're not sure. I mean, that's true. So, but there's always ways to not. But if their suggested retail value is,
in my opinion, like personally, I don't think raising the price is going to be the answer. I think it's more the games as a service. But that's the way you're going to make money.
Well, no, absolutely. I agree with that, Corey. I think the moneymaker now for most of these publishers is going to be games as a service. Absolutely. The whatever the price hike is, $5 to $10. I think we can agree that it would not be more than $10. I think anything that past that would be ridiculous.
I mean, I definitely agree that they are. You're getting a great deal at $60 for a game.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, let's say. Let's take.
But that's not what we're conditioned for. We don't care.
I agree. But let's take movies as a good example here. Then let's say the game has a suggested retail price of $69.99. But like movies are very rarely at their suggested retail price. All movies are suggested retail price of $35. How often do you ever see them for $35?
Well,
even at launch, you never see them at $35.
Like
because a game can launch at a suggested retail price, but still be $60 in the store. But people would feel like they're getting more of a value then, and they buy them at $60 more. More people would buy at $60 than they are now.
Well, yeah, if you're going to say it's on sale.
Exactly, but that's what's the value?
So then, right? Like they just hike everything up. Like you just saved 80% off of this item.
Exactly. You saved $210.
It's the illusion. Yes. It's an illusion.
But that works, and that's the idea. Like you can raise this value and still do that, and you'll get better sales.
But Jim, then you're all right. So yes, I agree with you in that sense that if you raise the prices and then discount it back to where it was originally, people will feel better about that. But
but you'd also sell up front because you don't
go fully digital, right, Jim? Like,
sure, you're talking about like trading in games. You can't trade it.
For me, I would love to go. I would love to be able to support these guys and give them as much money as possible. I do, but like, yeah, we have to be smart about it. We have so many games coming out.
Sure,
we only have so many dollars that we can spend.
Yeah, you have to be more smart about where you put your dollars, and so
right. But absolutely. But here's the thing. So I think the third parties would love that if video games were to go up in price. But I think it's the first parties too that would love to get an additional, on their own first party games, a full $10. Mm-hmm. And because I think they get around 50% to 15% of a retail sale, like physical copy. They would love extra $1.50, $2 royalty fee for every single copy of a game it sells, especially when you talk about these mega blockbuster games. Like, just do them at like RDR2. That's the game of the night, game of the year, or whatever I'm talking about. All right, it's been hyped to hell for 7 years. Whatever. It's been in development. It's going to be like the greatest open world game ever seen. It's going to blow your fucking mind. Horse testicles, motherfucker. If that actually launched for $69.99 base edition, how many people would really, honestly be turned away?
No, not nobody. I don't think anybody. Maybe a couple, but you would make more. You would definitely make more money on that game.
Right.
There's no question.
Right.
And I think,
and that's the thing, though, is like that's the problem.
That's my point.
You have a game like that.
But you let that option be there. Like you let Rockstar have the option of charging $69.99 a game.
Sure, I mean they could do that now if they wanted to, but that's not what
the norm. Yeah, but if you make the norm $69.99 and then games are discounted a lot of times, but you could charge full value for certain.
No, but that's not what Tony was saying.
Oh, I thought that's what he was saying. So you're saying
I'm saying like if Rockstar put out a game, they put out Red Dead Redemption 2 this right now for $70, the effect, the amount of people not buying it because of that is minimal, right?
Yeah. I guess you mean by...
But that's the problem, though, is that's what all these companies are trying to live up to, and going back to the conversation of, crunch and work ethics and, that kind of thing. Like, you have to have a game like that large, in order to justify it.
Yeah.
All right. And at the same time, like, you have a game like that that's selling for the same price as, like, a fucking, like...
licensed piece of shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Yearly sports game, $59.99, rather than RDR2 that had seven years of
Sure. Right.
thing. So what is it going to be like? Because here's the thing, in my opinion, push is going to come to shove for a lot of these games where it's like, hey, look, like the content, replay value, whatever you want to call it, is not as good as some of these other games. Like especially when you have free to play games like Fortnite, taking over the world. You have RDR2. I mean, Call of Duty. I mean, I really wanted to talk about that tonight. Well, maybe we could make it about next week.
Yeah.
Now that's eating like you just made a game that was head and shoulders above all these other shooters for multiple years, and it's only in the past couple that other shooters started to catch up. And now that they did with like Battle Royale maps and all that stuff, and they're like, all right, guys, let's let the big boys take this over. Let the men handle this kind of thing, and. I mean, they didn't even put a single-player mode in this year's Call of Duty.
Yeah.
There's not even a single-player mode, and it's breaking digital sale records, right, for Activision and stuff like that. Yeah. So, true. Like these mega games, and honestly, if they wanted to, I think the big publishers could absolutely get away with it.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, those are the ones that have more leverage against the first parties. Like, imagine if Rockstar is like, yeah, we want to. Next generation, we're not going to help you out with like GTA 6 unless we're allowed to sell it for $69.99. Like, just imagine.
Yeah.
Like, somebody be like, okay, it's going to happen. And because the thing is, and it's not like there's not a precedent for this. Remember, Xbox Live used to be $49.99 a year.
Sure.
That was what it launched at, and existed until halfway through the 360 generation.
I think it launched at $39.99. I think there was.
It might actually launch at $39.99. Yeah, I think it launched at $39.99, and there was a $20 price hike, right?
Well,
and it was big.
I think it was a 10 by 10. I think they went 10. They went up.
Was it 10 by 10?
Yeah, I think it went 10.
Okay. Yeah. But anyway, it increased to $60, and that was strictly because Microsoft made some kind of marketing deal with Activision. Was like, we got to make the money back and price hike on this.
Yeah.
And then Sony came out. Oh, PlayStation Plus. Well, we could come out with that service, and we're going to charge you $60 a year.
Yep. Yeah. All right.
It's going up.
I don't know. We could. Yeah. So.
I mean, we don't have to wait much longer.
Yeah.
The question originally was like, should video games cost more? Yes, they should cost more.
Yeah, 100%. I think we're all in agreement with that.
Yeah.
It's what's going to happen, and that's the thing is, I think we're going to see by consumer demand which games can charge more than $60, and obviously which ones can't. Because there's a lot that aren't even. Like Tomb Raider, Jim. Like Tomb Raider.
Yeah.
By all accounts that I've seen online, like that game is flopping hard as hell.
Yeah. Well. Yeah, but like, the game's not great. Like.
Right.
Why?
But they charge $6 for it.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah.
And as a consumer, like you look at like the Metacritic, social media, all that stuff, and you have on the fucking shelf Red Dead Redemption 2.
Or Tomb Raider.
Yeah.
Right, and that's the thing is like these. The value there is how much value are you getting for your dollar, and that's where like
I'm still getting my value.
It's off at Destiny 2, like there's like no value there for $60, and then now they're gonna make us pay more. It's like that's all. Like that's the narrative is like these companies just want more money from you, even though like these games are huge and some of them are like gigantic, like Red Dead, and like Destiny is a huge game that like a lot of people worked on, like 500 people worked on this game. Like,
Yeah.
people have to get paid. Like, if you want actually good games, like, you need to get money for that, and you have to like be able to pay for it. So, I think the issue I have with a lot of people is the entitlement that they feel, because they can play Fortnite for free and be like, oh well, why can't I get a game, that's gonna be like huge open world RPG, and why can't I pay less for that? And
I guess there are people like that, yeah. So I mean, I saw Tomb Raider on sale last week, and I'm like not kicking myself that I bought the game at full price, which I didn't pay full price. I mean GCU, but still, I'm just saying that. GCU? Yeah, I'm still saying it would have got it cheaper then. Still now if I bought it now, but
again, it's one of those things where like these third-party publishers have just the big ones have effectively pushed out all the other people, all the other companies. Like, in my opinion, like all the Japanese.
B tier, you're gone. Like the THQs of the world were.
Right. Exactly. They're all dead because like I've talked about it before, but if you like. So first-party, games that are coming out from Sony, Nintendo, Microsoft, they can afford, these huge development costs to make games like Zelda and Horizon and God of War and Halo and Forza and all that stuff. Because to them, that's kind of a loss leader. It's like they invest the money expecting that since it's an exclusive game, it's going to sell X amount of millions of units and hopefully recoup those costs. But it's a loss leader because people will buy the system then to play those games and then most likely make additional purchases, whether it's games, services, or accessories, most likely a combination of all the three. And then you have these third parties that are just like investing hundreds of millions of dollars into these video games that are like, it's almost like too big to fail kind of thing. And like, here you are as a middleware, mid studio. It's like, how can you possibly compete?
Yeah.
How can you possibly compete?
I don't know.
And then you have indie games, on the inverse end of the spectrum, indie games are so much more advanced and fleshed out than they used to be. Like, what was it? One of my first big indies was Castle Crashers maybe or something like that.
Yeah.
And that was an awesome game, but like, what was it? $15 to $20?
I think it was $20. I think maybe it was $14.99 actually. I'm trying to remember back. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Nowadays, for that same amount of money, you can buy Stardew Valley, you can buy Rocket League, you can buy Hollow Knight.
Yeah.
These are like games that are effectively AAA indie titles. So if you're not on that level, like where do you go?
Yeah.
Where do you go?
Yeah. Mobile. Go mobile. So, all right. I think that's gonna wrap up this episode 417 of the Gamecast. You can write us, tell us what you think. Podcast at allycangeek.net. Follow us on Twitter, AllYouCanGeek. Like us on Facebook, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Tune in next week. We're going to try to do some Halloween-themed stuff.
Get spooky!
Try to get that in before yes, we will have a podcast before Halloween, but you probably won't listen to it until Halloween, so we're like, let's just do it next week. So thanks for tuning in. Tune in to next week. See you soon. Bye.